Let's look at this natty video. I think this will be interesting.
This video is sponsored by BetterHelp. Socrates apparently once said, "It's a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable."
Yeah, I agree. Have you ever, anybody that has never like really worked out a lot, have you ever thought about how you would look if you're like super jacked? Because the thing is that like removing fat from some places and the shape you get whenever you work out, like you change, your visual look like change a lot.
Which is why it's such a shame
I
he
look
died
so good, bro. I bet, dude.
300 years before Greece was ruled by Kyriakos Grizzly. As you guys probably know by now, I am somewhat of a connoisseur of anything involving jacked men with big egos trying to do something better than some other guy.
He loves looking
at
men.
A podcast
Same.
is a topic for another day. Today we're talking about bodybuilding. Now, the vast majority of people who are into bodybuilding just
What are these chicken? To be honest, this is exactly how it looks. Like you have these fucking big calves, and then the legs are just like the end of the legs gets so thin and skinny. It's yeah.
like the idea of getting jacked rather than trying to actually compete, which is a much better objective because you probably won't ever accomplish either. One of the most common reasons guys get into bodybuilding is because they want to get girls, and while you get over that phase quickly,
I don't think that's true. I don't think that is actually true at all. Like, who do you think men gets most compliment from whenever they're jacked? It's other men. I don't think that many girls love absolutely overly jacked guys. I think that's more that men love jacked guys. Like a completely straight guy can respect and adore a man that has a really well-built body. I'm gonna be honest. I think like I don't think any man, I think some people get into working out with the thought that, oh, I'm gonna get in shape and now more women will like me. The same goes for women. Maybe they will also go try to get in shape just so that more men will like them or more women will like them, whatever. But when it comes to bodybuilding, this is not the kind of build a lot of women like. Yes, some do, but most don't. This is a thing you do to get men hard, not women hard.
a big reason for this is because many wannabe bodybuilders started their gym journey from the humble
Women
and
don't
insecure
compliment
teenage who
men,
will
yeah.
search, what body type do girls like in a guy? Now, this is an eye-opener because the answer is rarely C-Bum, Ronnie Coleman, or even Arnold, which makes no
Fucking dude. This guy is a fucking unit.
sense to the average guy who always pushes the character creation slider all the way to the right. For example, for any girls watching right now, I say rhetorically, which do you think is more attractive? A. Brad Pitt in Fight Club, or B. Christian Bale in The Machinist?
You know what's worst part is that I think it's 50-50. I would say Brad Pitt there is 100%. He's not overly buffed, he's just slim. But a lot of fucking girls like just completely like skinny, overly skinny guys. So it's like, I feel like that's a 50-50. 100% A, is this your figure? Your favorite figure? All right. Only woman in chat said that. There you go,
Now
guys.
you've locked in your answer, the bodybuilders will reveal how they compare the two, which is of course C. They're the same picture. It's just lighting and a pump.
That's exactly, yeah.
Similarly, one of the
Totally Asman on the right. No, this guy has too much muscle. Like the thing is that even though he's skinny as fuck, you can actually see that he has muscle.
It's just lighting and a pump. Similarly, one of the notorious psychological side effects of bodybuilding is that right now there are currently teenagers who see a Hollywood star like
The right
Tom
picture,
Holland and
yeah.
think, I want to be that ripped one day.
That is not even that super ripped, but that's, yeah.
5 years later, you'll look at Chris Hemsworth as Thor
That is overly ripped.
and think, small chest, no traps, lats are okay. Still has a neck? Pathetic. 5.5 out of 10. This phenomenon where other...
You know what's crazy as well? So I look at a lot of powerlifting and bodybuilding stuff. There's like so many channels that literally rate men. They rate these god-blessed men that are absolute unit, and they find the smallest things that are wrong. You see a absolute giga chat, but they will These guys, they will find all of the small details that are wrong with this guy, that's wrong with his build, that's wrong with his genetics. Because trust me, genetics is a big part of this as well. Is he natty or is he not?
5.5 out of 10. This phenomenon where other people look at you and think, damn, looking
Schoolgirl mentality,
but you look at
100%.
yourself and think, I'm so small, I need to get bigger.
Yep.
Is a common side
Take steroids.
effect of bodybuilding.
Take all the roids. Take all of them. All of them.
Called being correct. Now, in order to cancel out any benefit of the BetterHelp sponsorship, I wanted to give you the definitive guide to every possible male body type.
I want to show you something. This is gonna... So, you guys want to see how big of an issue, like, steroids is for the youth right now? Like, it is actually insane how many people do steroids at the moment. It's insane because it's like, it's so common to talk about this on TikTok and stuff like that. And many people in the like younger people nowadays do steroids so much. Look at this guy. This guy here is 17 years old. Look at this. He's 17. Look how fucking big this guy is.
Alright, so first next
Like, it's nuts.
eating on a cheat day at 7.
Does he even look 17? No.
You should give this a shot. And
Jesus, it's crazy how like, and this, you see it all the time everywhere. Everybody does this shit.
And whether you can actually look like that naturally or not. Let me just open up my shirtless men
People
folder
do that
and
to
select
women as well. Yeah, I bet so. I
for
bet.
exactly this purpose. We all have this one, don't we, boys?
Homework, yeah.
Now, the primary
Mine is called The Way to Philosophy.
and what your body looks like is the volume of muscle on your body and the amount of body fat you have as a percentage of your overall weight. So assuming you're about 5'9", the chart looks roughly like this. If you
Oh,
have a
yeah, I
body
know
fat
who
percentage
exactly what
about
that
10
is.
or below, but also basically no muscle, you'll weigh about 115 to 130 pounds and look roughly like this. By the way, he put himself on Adobe stock images, not my responsibility. As you add on more muscle while maintaining the same overall body fat percentage, you can see you go from Twitch streamer to otter mode, then you're basically jacked to the tits.
Wait, what? From Twitch? No. Does that? He's talking about the Asman build. Fucking Asman, the Twitch streamer build.
You can
Has
see
a
you
butt
go
slut,
from
I've
Twitch
heard.
streamer to otter mode, then you're basically jacked to the tits, then diced to the socks, then you eventually get to the final form of anyone with a low body fat percentage.
You know what's crazy is that even though Twitch streamers lifestyle is super unhealthy, I think Twitch streamer lifestyle is actually the best way to work out. I think I would argue that a successful Twitch streamer can reach this level of body. Maybe this is too much genetics, and I'll say this. This can be too much genetics. This can be steroids and stuff like that. But I think like with a couple of years, they can definitely reach like this kind of body or this kind of body. Because what they do is that, Bajira, there you have one. Because what they do is that they have a flexible schedule and they rest during that schedule. They're sitting down, they're chilling, and they can just sit there and drink water. This time is so important that they're sitting down and resting after these hours so they can reflect their workout schedule perfectly fine with their streamer schedule, making this kind of acquired build, these two acquired builds, super easy for a Twitch streamer. Because it's not like, oh, now this work thing, now I have to travel, yada, yada, yada. You can control your meal set and you can have those rest hours while you're streaming. It's perfect.
Which is actually looking like you lift when wearing a shirt. So the second row is exactly the same progression, except with a body fat percentage of 15 to 20%. Notable physiques in this category include skinny fat, the dad bod, the daddy bod. Then of course you have the power builder, which is either an off-season bodybuilder or a power lifter trying to cut. Then of course the notorious bear mode. I swear I'm not making these up. These are actually established taxonomical classifications. So then at 25% body fat and higher, we have white collar dad bod, the median American, blue collar dad bod, the true power lifter, and of course transcendent. Now, the good news is that first of all, everything in the first column is achievable naturally. All you have to do is as little as possible. Believe it or not, everything I've colored in green is likely achievable natty by nearly anyone. After that, yellow is achievable if you have good genetics or are short,
Exactly.
which by the transitive property of bodybuilding means that being short is good genetics. Checkmate male model.
Yeah, it's being short. It's so much easier to actually build muscle whenever you're short. It's incredibly much easier. It's insane.
Everything in orange is basically always going to require you being on the juice, and everything in red speaks for itself. Roughly speaking, if you're 5'9", natural, have extremely good genetics, have been lifting 10 plus years properly, the biggest you can be is about 175 to 195 pounds at 10% body fat, depending on the size of your bones, muscle insertions, and whether you're...
Again, it's all depending on genetics as well. It's kind of sucks to work out like in these kind of things, because sometimes the RNG of life might have fucked you up and you can't even achieve any. You might not even be able to have abs. You might not achieve this kind of build that you really want, which is really rough for a lot of people, because there's a lot of people that would desire the most and work out super hard, but they had bad RNG whenever they spawned.
Like Adam Anja or Mike Israetel. As a comparison, Mr. Olympia bodybuilders at the same height frequently get on stage at half the body fat and weigh 240 pounds. Being a fan of actual competitive bodybuilding, there are always a plethora of non-bodybuilding fans who say things to me like, so you enjoy watching nearly naked muscly guys lathered up in spray tan flex next to each other? Yes. Thing is, if you find yourself spending a questionable amount of time judging the physiques of jack dudes in microthongs, you might say to yourself, wait, I thought I was straight, but maybe I am sexually confused. If this happens, just spend the $10 for Vladislav Galigan's OnlyFans and you'll immediately realize, nope, now that I'm aware of what actual sexual confusion is, I can say in hindsight I definitely wasn't experiencing it before. It's important to know that if you are considering taking steroids or testosterone, it doesn't just enhance your ability to build muscle, it comes with a lot of side effects. These are often considered bad by regular people when they are clearly just small and jealous. These include your muscles growing faster than your tendons and ligaments, resulting in debilitating injury. This is also known in bodybuilding as suffering from success. Going bald. This is obviously not a problem because you're...
Man, that sucks, dude.
Balding already. Testicular atrophy. Now, when anyone thinks of testicles, they all think the same thing. Guaranteed crit. Finally, this is the opportunity to eliminate that weak spot. Plus, girls will think your dick is bigger because your balls will appear further away. Heightened tendency
because your balls are smaller. Good
for
one.
aggravation. Would you rather get in one fight and lose it, or get in 10 fights and win them? Exactly. Suppressed fluid intelligence. You literally won't be able to tell. If anyone calls you stupid, just fight them. Most people don't consider bodybuilding an extreme sport, but when you bring up skydiving, rock climbing, or heli skiing, most people ask, why do they do it if it's so risky? And the athletes always say something like, I love it so much I'd die for my sport. In contrast, in contest bodybuilding,
I mean, that's
dying
their
is
passion,
the sport.
right?
It's worth it though, because if you're 265,
Bro, look at this
contrast
guy.
in
I've seen
contest
this
bodybuilding,
before.
dying
Look at this fucking dude. Jesus Christ, dude. The amount he barely has any body fat on him. This is nuts.
is the sport. It's worth it though, because if you're 265 pounds, severely dehydrated, and have 3%
None
body
of these
fat,
are attractive to me at all. That is what I'm saying. This shit is not attractive for women. There are some women that find this attractive, but this is literally for the men. These are things men care about.
what's the worst that can happen?
Big beefy boys are not really something a lot of women like.
Yeah, in this case it is total organ failure, but that's a small price to pay in the grand scheme of things. For now, get that trophy, go to a sushi buffet, gain 50 pounds in a work week, and then live to die another day. Now, if you're looking to get into
Perfect.
bodybuilding, here's some advice from someone who's been going to the gym for 10 years, as in physically arriving there, not in terms of progress, obviously. First of all, going to the gym and rapidly progressing
Still has an neck, sadly. Yeah, I gotta
the
work
first
on
few
that.
months is like having sex for the first time. You say to yourself, holy shit, this is amazing. I'm sure this is going to continue at the same rate forever. But no, all progress will be halted when you go too hard and get your back blown out. Secondly, there are some immutable facts of bodybuilding that defy conventional logic. For example, nearly all bodybuilders struggle to grow their calves despite doing the optimal training routine, which is 5 sets of seated calf raises at the end of leg day. Frankly, there is nothing else you can possibly do. You just have bad genetics, should have been Asian or previously obese. Third, in order to bodybuild effectively, you have to go on phases where you gain weight and muscle, and then phases where you cut body fat and maintain as much muscle as possible. Then repeat the process for optimal results. Don't be afraid to take your time on this, because if you go too quickly, you'll gain too much fat or lose too much muscle. Personally, I like to do a 3 or 4 month bulk, then a 4 to 5 year period of telling people I'm cutting. Lastly, the most important thing about bodybuilding is that it's not about winning a trophy or getting the honeys. It's about putting on a dress shirt, rolling up your sleeves, and receiving a compliment on your forearms once every few months. It's not about being the most jacked guy at the pool party, it's about achieving negative buoyancy. Ultimately,
It's about having that sleeper build.
at the end of the day, like all sports, bodybuilding isn't about the destination. It's all about burning more calories per day so you can eat more. Now, if you ever find yourself looking at a picture of Kyriakos Grizzly and thinking, what if I never become this? As a single tear rolls down your cheek, you might want to consider today's sponsor, BetterHelp. Because look at me, despite being absolutely massive, sometimes I look in the mirror and doubt myself. This is why BetterHelp's mission is to make
It's just an ad now. I think I've heard a lot of negative things about BetterHelp. Like, their work is not good, so I'm not going to look into that. That's a good video. That was a fun-ass video. I don't really watch this channel a lot, but that was really good. How about just feel good because you worked hard on your body? I think that's the case. I think you should just, if you work out, you should just work out to feel good. That's all that matters. Just work out to feel good. And if it makes you feel good to look at yourself that you're hot as hell, I mean, there you go. Do what makes you happy, baby. Do what makes you happy. Hi, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe. I'll post videos nearly every day, so if you want to watch any more reactions, feel free to subscribe and I'll see you there.